The Pfaff Creative 4.5 sewing machine has a way that you can override all the built-in settings for any of the decorative stitches. And you're able to do that by saving them into a variety of different places. You can save them into the personal files of the machine. You can also save them into the personal menu, which is probably the one I use the most. But there's a third option here. This almost looks like a power sign, like when you power up a computer or a device. This is where you can set one particular stitch, any stitch in the machine, to come up as the default stitch when you turn your machine off and on. And I was trying that and it worked. So if like you're using the blanket stitch all the time, you could set that stitch as that default stitch. So let's walk you through some of the things that you can do. So oftentimes I might be working with a stitch and I dial in like the perfect setting. It's longer or shorter, narrower than I'm used to using, and I don't want to have to write it on a sticky note. What I can do is save it into the personal menu. So if you've noticed, menu 7 has all those little subcategories, 1 through 8, and you can store up to, how many different ones? Yes, 16 in each. So if I wanted to save the stitch that I just altered, I can touch the spot, and now that stitch is saved. Now, if I stitch this same stitch in maybe a narrower version, I can also save that one. It's like making multiple copies of your favorite stitches. So where do these actually hang out? So let's say you turn your machine on and you want to find the stitches that you altered yesterday. Go over to the last menu, menu 7, and you'll find the ones that you were working on right at your fingertips. And notice you'll have the items that you've saved right here, all on one screen, unless you've saved them on multiple categories, different projects, different areas. That's easy. And then you can see what those settings actually were. So that's really easy. One of the things you can do if you're over here, once you've done using that stitch, you can touch the trash can one time and touch the stitch you want to delete, and it will confirm if yes, that is what you want to do. If you were to touch and hold the trash can, it will come up with delete everything in this current subcategory. So that would be all 5 of these stitches would disappear instantly. So I'll just leave those for right now. Now, I did mention that you can take a stitch. Let's go ahead and find a fun decorative stitch that you might like to have the machine start from the minute you turn the machine off and on. So I picked a stitch, and you can go ahead and touch that symbol. What it is called is Save as Personal Default Stitch. So when I touch this, it will say that that stitch number is now saved. So I'm going to turn off the machine and turn it back on. And when it comes back to the first screen, that stitch will be showing. Ta-da! There it is. And if you want that to no longer be, just pick the stitch that you would prefer it to open up to. I'm going to set mine back to the straight stitch. Open up the saving feature, touch that, save the default, and it's now set for that main menu, stitch number 1, subcategory 1. And now it'll go back to a straight stitch. So you've got excellent ways to save your favorite stitches, save your favorite settings, and even override what the default stitch is when you turn the machine on.